off last month, getting back into the slides, also taking into consideration a suggestion that public member Jean Grillo made at the last meeting after the resolution, and see, what we can get through tonight within the next 20 minutes in that regard. So Jen's pulling it up now. She will direct us to where we left off.
Right, so we're just using the presentation that was used last month. The slides that we have gone over are labeled as recap. I'm just going to go through them very quickly to get to where last slides popped off. So Mariama, it would be the slide entrance and exit door plans. We haven't really gone in depth for this kind of parameter, and if we don't have quorum, but I think that's fine. We can kind of run it the same way we did last month, where we discuss, and then once we leeway into licensing, we bring it up again and then motion for a vote.
Pick it up again in licensing. Yes.
Right.
Okay. Great. So I guess we're going to be talking about egress here, and a lot of the buildings in FIDI where all this available space is in terms of square footage in some of the buildings, like the banks that were vacated and things, the streetscapes are very narrow. There's limited egress from the buildings. Things like ambulances and fire trucks have difficulty making it down the block. So I think those might be some of the things that we want to think about in terms of entrance and exit door plans. But, and feel free to, raise your hand or to just speak out, and any thoughts on this? How many exits do we want to? Oh, yes, Francis.
It indirectly relates to what we're talking about, but today I happened to experience on John Street when the school, that Titus school was letting out, they had the school buses were backed up on John Street. So the traffic consequently was backed up, and there were Ubers and people waiting. So I think that in terms of suggesting for that situation, but also for this, is that when there is a large event, that they need to have people that go to certain intersections so that they could immediately, if there's the fire or ambulance has been, if there's an emergency, they need to have somebody at a major street to direct traffic and close the street off so the ambulance or whatever it is can get by. Because I think the same thing needs to happen with that school on John Street, but I think that it relates to maybe, what we're discussing now in terms of what you're saying about the egress and the streets, being very, very narrow. And in case of an emergency, and some big vehicles need to get in there needs to be a plan for somebody to go to a major street and close the street off and direct traffic immediately. I think.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. William is another one that's really bad. And
right, exactly.
When there's a school bus on Ann, you cannot, forget about it.
Right, exactly. So I don't know how we could work that in there for, this is not specifically it's a large venue. It's something we can bring in quality of life as well. But also, I think it's a big issue that we need to consider as a community, because basically that's what we're talking about. We're talking about even restaurants. If it's on a small street, they need to have, maybe we should look at the possibility of them having some kind of emergency plan to direct traffic, when things happen like that, and emergency vehicles need to get in.
Mark is here, right? Mark, are you here? Are you on?
He was here earlier.
Okay.
Let me double check.
I see his name.
He's here.
Oh yeah, I see his name. Maybe he stepped away.
Go ahead.
You mentioned, I think it was Community Board 2, that they sort of take it neighborhood by neighborhood or street by street. what are your, you think it makes sense that maybe if we identified certain streets that are worse than others, that maybe like if you're trying to put something on William, for example, we suggest this many exits, or we suggest, like Francis said, you have people that are waiting outside to redirect, or we suggest your people are dropped off or picked up from a separate location and they walk the rest of the way or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, that does. Yeah. You mean how they do their parking?
Right.
Yeah.
Some of the streets are more narrow than others. I mean, some just don't really accommodate a large venue, period. At least in my opinion.
It's impossible
Yeah, I
because you
agree.
can't have any drop off and pickups or the proverbial sitting around, Uber driver doing whatever, just sitting there for 20 minutes, having everybody will drive around them. It can't be done in those streets.
So
What
do
do
you
we
think we
do
should
for
identify individual streets that
what do we do for Cipriani's?
Um,
Cipriani's.
they have black cars lined up on
Yeah.
water and wall?
But
Right.
but I have a vague recollection of there was something in the plan of redirecting the traffic, and they had somebody to do something. But I
Is
remember
Megan
this was
here? Maybe
it
she
was an
remembers.
issue.
Hi, Francis. It's Megan. I think they have people stationed out there directing traffic that we required that they hire private people, and it did help a little bit. They would be
Uh-huh.
directing traffic a bit, but it was on Cipriani to provide those people to do that. So,
Right.
and still we get backups, but it did help, and it is one thing that we can ask for.
So if we were willing to ask for that and to include it in a resolution, is that something like, would we base it on the amount of people, the size of the large venue, the size of the street, all of those things? Like, how
Yeah,
could we
all
write that
factors.
into?
Yeah.
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 Is-
Absolutely.
I remember something with Cipriani at that time that they were going to change the direction of one of the streets. I don't know if it ever came to fruition, but does anyone remember that?
That sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't think any of the direction of either street that they're on has changed, because they're
Okay.
they're on Broadway
correct.
and they're on Wall. And I
Right,
think those
right.
streets, are the same. I think they were trying to change Wall, and we went crazy. Like everybody in the vicinity went crazy.
Yeah, yeah. But to answer you also your other question, yeah, Community Board 2, they've been doing this because I'm on their mailing list because I'm up North Tribeca. So anytime there's like a border issue, I want to make sure I know what's going on. I'm pretty friendly with all the guys up there and gals. But yeah, they've been doing for years, and their transportation committee and quality, for years they've been doing this. You'll just see request DOT change, no parking 8 to 6 to alternate side, or no parking 8 to 6 to truck loading and unloading for 30% of the street. And they do this all the time. I mean, there's every month for years and years and years. We don't do that, and so we got to start doing that next month. Yeah.
So,
Mariama and for everyone as well, is there a sort of language that you all would want to be added? I actually have a draft resolution with that I could just
oh, cool.
and can go over it when we're in licensing.
Okay. But it incorporates this issue?
Right. If there's any specific language that we can create into a whereas.
Yeah, that was going to be my question as well. Like if we had an idea. If not, we can continue to think about it and move on to the next topic. While we continue to think about how we might want to word this. What is the next slide?
Let's see.
Jen?
Noise control. Oh, and this just brings me reminding to me actually, if it doesn't have to happen right now, but if we can also delve a bit more into the issues surrounding noise control, because I do remember there's a bit of a back and forth dialogue regarding the distinction of sounds.
Yeah, Mark and Mitch were educating us on the different types of sound. There was bass and there was noise and.
Right, and that, yeah, that was raised at the full board as well as a friendly amendment. Perhaps it would probably be a good idea to work on this second resolution and if it's still an idea in the works, that's fine as well, but if we can probably go and just outline specifics on what the committee deems acceptable, like what kinds of sound, just what Mark raised at the full board, making sure that we have that distinction between the bass and vibrations.
Well, do we want any sounds or vibrations emitting, that are loud enough to affect people on the street, emitting from any of these buildings? I think that this one might be easier than the other one, than the previous one. Shouldn't all sound other than, like a light background noise be kept within the confines of the event space?
Yeah, it should say something like noise such as music, bass, vibrations, as it affects neighbors, should be confined to the interior of the venue and not affect anyone else's quality of life. Something like that.
Do we have any kind of language that we use in licensing, that could be probably incorporated? Because we ask about, are they going to have music, are the windows open? And we question the noise level that the potential venue is going to have. So maybe we could look at that and
We
also,
classify it as background noise.
Well, yeah,
right?
yeah, well, we do. Yeah, they have that option to pick that. They have the opportunity to pick that option if that's what they're having. But just in terms of, I was just thinking in terms of the language. But what do we do for Cipriani? I'm sorry, I keep bringing it back because that's the only major venue that is open in my head right now. And I think that if we look at that, maybe it might help us be able to look at some parameters, because if the venue is in the same area as Cipriani's, I'm sure they're going to be saying, well, they got that and we didn't get this. And, there's going to be some kind of comparison. So I'm wondering if we could just kind of have a look at that again and see if that would help us with some of the issues that we have to look at here.
I think that's a good idea. See if there's anybody. I can't see all the attendees, or can I? Michael
Michael has his hand.
Yeah. I was just gonna agree with what Francis said. I was gonna ask, have we ever talked about a specific decibel level that we think is above a certain above a certain threshold is too much? Have we ever used that? Because I'm thinking about how to make this as enforceable or measurable as possible. And I didn't know if that ever come up before.
The Department of Environmental Protection has stands, I think it's 45 decibels if they come and take a meter reading from your window. But I don't know if you can get them there at 2 o'clock in the morning to take the reading is another story. And there's no measurement, as far as I know, Mitch, or is Mitch here, to measure bass levels. You just feel it. Oh,
gotcha.
As far as I know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, Karen brought that up at a quality of life meeting, and I don't know if she.
Sorry, so it's 45 decibels. I'm pretty sure it's 45. I think it's the same for construction equipment, jackhammer, all that stuff. As meter, yeah. So, and the cops are supposed to have meters with them, but it's been for years not worked well. Sorry, Francis.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I vaguely remember us having this discussion in that committee meeting also, and we did have a board member that used to go out and had a meter reader and used to go out and take the readings, but
so what we need for this one is a way to word that we don't want any sound from the interior.
Yeah.
to be, emitting into
coming out
public
onto the
spaces.
streets. Yeah.
But above what? At all, or above a? I guess this is what Michael was getting to. Above a particular level. Background noise. We want to use that classification again. Maybe we can work something about that. Like if we hear more than
Well,
background noise outside of the venue.
Well, like Mark said, there's the city has there's a department that has certain guidelines, isn't there? You know, in terms of
Yeah, they do.
that.
There's a standard.
We could
Yeah.
we could look at that, and then again. Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're saying? We want to use the standard?
I would vote for that.
Yeah, I'd
That's
be
a
in favor of that.
beginning.
I found a link to it so I can send it to I can either circulate it via email, but it sounds like it's 40 Mark was really close. It says 42 decibels as measured inside nearby residences, or 7 decibels over ambient sound level as measured on the street or public right of way.
Okay. But I think, I could be wrong, but I think that that is for sound that we're hearing outside. Like, okay, when is loud too loud? If I'm recalling correctly from like different events that were outdoor events. So for example, I don't know, Tribeca Film Festival. I'm just throwing that out there. Don't put this on them.
Well,
They're
the
playing music
roadrunners,
outside. If you can
the
hear it from
races.
your apartment, because what they would do is they would come and check the apartment, different people that were having events outside. They would send somebody upstairs to your apartment to see how loud it was from there. But we don't want a restaurant or a club or whatever that is so loud that people can hear it from their apartments or even the street level. So we need a way to word that. That even the standard would be too much outside if your venue is inside.
Mariama,
Well,
could we use the numbers that would be provided from the applicant's sound recording and acoustical reports, and use the number that whatever the sound engineer, let's say the venue, up to 40 decibels, right? At that number, sound is not permissible and cannot be heard from outside. So we can use that number as sort of benchmark.
That sounds good.
In our solution. I mean, that's just an idea, but.
No, I think it's a good idea. That sounds good to me. Any objection to that? Can we word something like that?
Yeah, works.
Okay.
The beginning.
Maybe we can squeeze one more in. What's the next slide?
Let's see, it's control, then followed by, which is a whole nother realm. Outdoor spaces. Let me just go through this, see what else there is.
We can tackle this one easy. Just keeping with our practice from licensing with these times.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Okay, so if licensing wants to do another resolution this month from this subcommittee, it will include noise, delivery, and egress. Agreed or no? Yes?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, I'm happy to adjourn, Jen. It's 6:29 on my end, and to make way for the next committee.
Got
Is
it,
Susan
okay.
here?
She's not coming tonight. Mark is chairing licensing.
Okay.
Yeah, Susan can't make it tonight, so
Okay.
I'm the co-chair. And my camera's still not working. Sorry, guys, on my laptop, so I'll have to just see my initials or whatever. All right, Jen, do you want to just start us off as to agenda, and then we'll go right into it?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. So, good evening, everybody, everyone. This is the beginning of the Licensing and Permits Committee. So right off the bat, to start off, first item on our agendas from Tribeca area would be 30 Hudson Street. Forge 30 Hudson LLC. This application came in last month, but we'd asked to postpone and come back this month. So we have our, we have our applicant here with us. Okay, we have our applicants here, and I'm moving them to panelists. Just give me one moment. Hi, Mark and Sabato. I moved you both as panelists, so if you can
The
vote.
applicants here?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so the application is for, specifically is for a change of a method of operation, is that correct?
Oh, no, it's a new application.
Oh, so a new application, okay.
And I'll
Okay,
present,
sorry.
yeah.
Okay. Are we ready for the applicant to give us their presentation?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have their packet. I'm going to put up on the screen just one moment.
Okay, so we're just waiting for technical pull up. Just give us a minute.
Okay.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes,
Should
I can.
should I zoom in or?
A little.
Okay, gotcha. How about now?
That's much better, much better.
Awesome. Okay. So Mark, whenever you're ready, can you see my screen?
Yep.
And you can guide me along
Sounds
as we
good.
go through the packet. Yeah.
So if the applicant could just introduce themselves and give us a brief description of what you are going to, what you want in your
Yep.
application.
Yeah. Everybody can hear me?
Yes.
Everybody can hear me?
Yes.
All right. How's everybody? Nice to see you or hear you. So I'm Mark Forgione. I've been operating restaurant Mark Forgione on Reed Street, 134 Reed Street since 2007. And all we're doing is picking up the exact same operation that we've been doing for the last 13, 14 years on Reed Street, and we're picking it up and we're moving it down or to 30 Hudson Street. I don't think we're asking for anything other than what we have had. It's a liquor license. There'll be outdoor seating, a bar on the right, dining room on the left, and it'll be an American fine dining restaurant. 7 days for dinner, possibly opening for lunch as we get open.
So your current location is closing and you're moving, or you're having two? You're gonna have two operations.
It's closing.
Okay, so you're
Reed
moving.
Street is closing.
Reed
Okay.
Street is closing, yeah.
Okay.
And what's the public assembly?
Elke, you know that?
Our liquor attorney, Elke Hoffman, should be on. I don't see her in the chat, so I don't know if she's.
Yeah, I don't know the answer off the top of my head. I know Elke does though.
She just joined, so I'm moving her to panelists right now.
It's the same amount of seats that we have too. It's really like the exact same operation, just moving down the block.
Hi guys, I'm sorry. I was having some technical difficulty.
Do you know what the public assembly is?
For this, I do not. In fact, I'm not sure that we had a place of assembly. You have under, I think we had talked about this. You have under 74 on each. Hold on, now my computer's also frozen.
So it's
Fantastic.
definitely under 74 then?
Correct.
On each, on each,
74.
on each level with separate, hold on, I'm sorry.
Let's go through each level then. So we're clear on what we're
Do you,
what we're
do
having.
you know, Mark, are you getting a place of assembly permit? I thought we had, I don't remember this coming up at the last meeting. We had talked about it before the last meeting.
Again,
Yeah.
Sabato, I don't know.
I'm not sure where we are in that process. I know the first floor, I believe, was at 74. And then we have a downstairs dining room that seats about 24 to 30. And we're in the process of getting all the drawings submitted next week from our architect of record.
Well, there's no definite answer on that because that's a question on the application that needs to be. It says to be determined. I think it says, and we actually need to know that. I think we need to know that before we can really vote on something.
I think quite a few times we the actual numbers and certificates of occupancy are quite often pending at the time we come before you.
No, we always need to know what the public assembly is going to be, the amount of people that are going to be in there. That help us determine certain things, like maybe closing times and things like that.
Well, the number of seats and the occupants are on this application. The actual legal occupancy and the legal place of assembly may be greater, but the number of seats and the number of tables are included in this application.
Yeah, and the difference between that, because if you take all the tables and chairs away, then you might have a public assembly of over 74, and we need to know that. If that's going to happen. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. So, committee members.
No, I think it's a number we need to know.
So, so you said you're not going to know this because you're meeting with your architect, and the thing is, if you have a good track record in the neighborhood as far as I know, which is always a plus, but we need to know that information. So can you come back next month?
Can we go through the rest of the things so that we have a list of everything that we're going to need so we don't have to do this again, guys? Because this is our second attempt now, and this is just, again, a surprise to us.
Yeah, well, it's a question on the application. And
no, I'm not saying anybody
Yeah.
did anything wrong. I'm just asking if we could kind of go through it and see if there's anything else that we're missing so that we don't have to go through this again.
Okay. I mean, that's the one glaring thing, but it's an important one.
Yep.
Anything else, Jen, that stands out that they need that they didn't have? I mean, that they posted, I recall that, right, to the neighborhood?
They did, yeah. And
Yeah,
that's included in their packet, yeah.
Yeah.
Another option that, I mean, again, just an option, and this is for you and the committee to agree on or decide on, is if the applicant doesn't have a public assembly capacity provided at the time of the committee meeting, as long as they can provide that number before the full board, so that information can be raised as a friendly amendment and then adopted into the resolution. That's one option.
Yeah, I thought of that, but the thing is, it sounds like there could be a discrepancy between the under 74 and more than that. Because if it was, if it was, how can I put it? If it was something that was, if we knew for sure that it was going to be that, then no capacity of persons of over 75, then we can come up with a resolution and then put it in later. but I mean, we can reserve it.
I guess I'm not sure I follow because we've come before you several times and you know the maximum occupancy and what you know here if the resolutions have always been drafted based on like the occupancy in the application and that's been provided here. And so if legal occupancy, if a place of assembly, if a legal maximum occupancy is greater, but they have represented and warranted that there's a diagram in here of 60 seats, that's been considered and voted on before.
Yeah, but seats and persons in the premises is two different things.
But if this application says there's an occupancy of 74 or less, and even if legally under, you know, FDNY would allow them 120, if this application, you know, the SLA gets diagrams. They can't just move out the tables and chairs and turn it into a nightclub without being in violation of their liquor license. So the occupancy that they give as here, you know, on this floor there are 60 seats and 4 employees, that they're limited to that based on their liquor license application as well.
So why did you have to be determined?
Because I don't have the exact legal maximum occupancy number.
But the point is, I don't think we've ever really had this discussion with an applicant before. They usually put a number there, and then we say, you know, it might be too much, it might, you know, it might not be. But I don't ever recall even seeing one that says to be determined occupancy. So this is what we're wrestling with right now.
I mean, I could say, I mean, and say that we're at, what was it, 84. I just don't have a piece of paper of public assembly that says that number on there. And so from my standpoint, filling out the application, I want it to be truthful with what we have in our hand right now. And I don't have that. So that's where I wanted, because there wasn't a public assembly in the space before, because it was, I think I guess less than that. So that's why we had put to be determined.
No, I understand what you're saying, but like I said, in committee, correct me if I'm wrong, but in all the years, there's always been, I've never seen public assembly to be determined before. There's always been a number in an application.
So could I then just resubmit the same application and write a number in? Is that sufficient?
If you send an email to the community board and to Jen, stating that this is the number.
Okay.
And of course, if you were all together right now, we'd have you write the number in on the physical piece of paper and initial it. So in lieu of that, send an email, give us the number, and if you can give us the number now, then we'll put it in a resolution. That's what you have to stick to when you go for your when you go before the SLA.
Sure.
Is that agreeable?
That's agreeable. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to understand the process. And again, I wanted to be, I thought looking for the actual place of assembly that we haven't received yet. So that's where I was struggling with. So happy to oblige with that. As soon as we're done here, I'll look at our number and shoot that over to everybody.
All right, so give us a number for the first floor, and you only have in the basement. That's all you have, right?
Those are the only 2 floors.
Right,
correct.
Just to be
correct. Mm-hmm.
Sure. Okay, so get us those 2 numbers, and then we can write the resolution. How long does it take you to find that?
I'm texting with our architect of record right this moment, just so I'm speaking to exactly what he's putting on the drawings.
All right. So committee, any issues with the hours of operation?
I have a question, Mark.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw on the questionnaire that there was a sidewalk cafe, and I was just curious. I'm always curious, about the rules. Is that for the same hours of operation that they have that's in front of us, the 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., or is that go by a different standard?
No, they have to. It's a whole new application with the consumer.
On the questionnaire, it's a sidewalk cafe, so I just didn't know. Wanted to make sure that
they have to reappear before us for that.
Okay, thank you.
Francis, you have a question?
I was in your discussion with him, I was just wondering what his rush was, and he couldn't wait until we voted on this at the board meeting. When are you planning on opening?
We plan on opening in probably January, early February.
There's a clause in our lease that is asking us to expedite the process and with that. So that's why we were trying to go before the community board to get approval to satisfy that in our lease.
Okay. Okay. That was my question.
Any other committee members? Anyone from the public? Can you put your hand up? Do they have the ability to put their hand up, Jen, or how do we work? How do we ask the public to speak?
They do. Those from the attendees list can raise their hands. Oh, for example, I just saw one person has their hand raised.
Okay, can you try and have them come in and identify themselves?
Sure, one moment. Let me just see. Okay, we have an attendee by the name of Gretchen Clayton. Mark, do you want me to unmute them?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Hi.
Gretchen.
Hi, thank you, everybody. My name's Gretchen Clayton, and I live in the building above where the proposed restaurant is going to be. And I just wanted to say that while I think Forgione is a great restaurant, I appreciate the one up the street, and I think they'll be a good tenant. I think I, along with many other residents in our building, which is it's a co-op of 25 apartments, are concerned about the 1 and 2 a.m. Closing times. And we've had some back and forth through our managing agent with Sabado, who's been very agreeable. And I think, we've had a good discussion. But I think the concern is that those hours are very late for very residential neighborhood and building. And, just because that's been a restaurant space for many years, although empty for the last few, there have been a lot of issues about noises and disruption. And so we were hoping, and I personally am hoping that maybe if a liquor license is granted, which, I think should be, but that it would have some sort of limitation in terms of last seatings and, because I know you can't just, kick people out if they've just been seated, but, the co-op was hoping that we'd have last seatings kind of Sunday through Thursday at 9:30 and on weekends at 10. And I don't know how this all works, but I wanted to voice that.
Yeah, so the last seatings, again, it's really more on demand, but our current business, pre-pandemic was usually we sat up until between 10:30 and 11 on the weekends, and between give or take 9:45 and 10:30 on the weekdays, and Sunday was a little earlier. But there's never been any problem that we've ever had with noise coming out of there till 2 a.m. I don't think there's one complaint that's ever been filed.
Gretchen, can I ask you a question? What was the previous restaurant that was there?
The most recent one was now I'm blanking on the name.
Brushstroke was there.
Brushstroke, which was kind of an Asian fusion, and that wasn't nearly as bad as Boulay years back or used to.
Oh, Boulay space. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the bottles and the everything
Okay.
thrown out was a real mess. And
Did they soundproof the ceiling? Do you know if that's like if the ceiling soundproofed or not?
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it currently is, but that is something that we are actively looking at in our design throughout the space.
Okay.
We're doing some probing, hopefully later this week or next week, but that is in our design, our plans for design.
All right, so we can add that to the resolution.
Yeah, I think, and just so you know, I mean, I think the people who live, I'm on the 4th floor, so I didn't have the noise right through the floor that I think the family lives on the 2nd floor have more concern about that. And I appreciate your commentary about, looking at soundproofing, which I think is really helpful. But, when I go back to the Boulay years, I mean, it wasn't coming through the restaurant from my perspective. It was, bags of bottles just getting crashed on the sidewalk. It was, you know, the people who were doing it were not exactly sound aware, or perhaps
Yeah.
they liked sound, I don't know. But you know, it's that kind of thing. And while, you know, look, we fully respect that Forgione that you guys do a very, you know, nice restaurant, upscale, you know, all of which is a good thing for us as a building. I'm not, you know, I'm not beginning to say that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing, but it's just concern about, you know, lingering, you know, evenings and that sort of thing with, you know, one of the restaurants across the street, you know, people, really drunk people used to roll out making a lot of noise all the time. And it's that kind of concern. And, you know, in fairness, we understand during the holiday seasons, you have parties that go late, and we're totally understandable about, or understanding about that kind of thing. I mean, that's a big part of your economics. And, you know, at least I personally am totally fine with that. It's more the kind of, you know, daily, weekly bread and butter that we're thinking about.
And I completely
And I-
understand, Gretchen. This is Sabato. And you know, when we were looking at the hours, again, that was so we didn't have to kick people out in terms of the last, you know, the end of the evening. But you know, when we look at it, trying to have sort of the pre-pandemic hours, and that, you know, 10 o'clock on the weeknights, 11 in the weekends on Friday and Saturday, as demand dictates. It's not something that we see, you know, throughout the year, but there are times of the year when people do want to seat on the later seatings. And looking around the neighborhood, I think that would be the 9:30. I think is the biggest challenge, because that puts us competitively at a disadvantage when we look at the other hours of operation for similar restaurants in the neighborhood that are seating till 10 or 11 on those nights with it. But again, we don't want to be.
What were your hours at Reed Street? Was this the same?
Yeah, that's what we're asking for, is the
Is
same
the same? Okay.
regulation hours that we've had for the last
All right.
years.
So I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, but
to
I would just, I point
Mm.
out one item that's different about Reed Street, which is one of their neighbors is a shop that used to be 24 hours. It's a bodega, 24 hours, and now it closes at midnight. And then another neighbor is a private family's garage on the other side. I think I have that right. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. You know, there is an upstairs to the current Forge resident. I don't know if that's apartment. I have no idea.
They are apartments.
Okay, so there's one or two residences there perhaps, but so, you know, I'll point out those differences. Look, you know, we just want to have, you know, we don't want people rolling out on the street at 1 and 2 a.m. I mean, that's
Couldn't
the
agree
bottom
more.
line.
Neither do we. And just to comment a little bit on the garbage and the bottles breaking, you know, as a chef, I have all the respect in the world for Boulay, but I know that he wasn't the best for the neighborhood. And
Right.
you know, all I can ask is that you please don't compare us, because we're two totally different operators, and we operate in a very, very different way. And I have so much respect for Tribeca as a neighborhood. That again, I don't think we've ever had a complaint of somebody calling in, you know, bottles breaking in the middle of the night. Like we're very respectful and careful for what we do.
So who's going to be
excuse me.
so who's going to be on the premises managing? Is it both of you?
We have a general manager. Mark will be there. We have a director of operations. So those would be the people.
So can you provide cell phone numbers to the people in the building?
Absolutely.
And if there are any issues,
Yes.
I mean, we'll mention the resolution about you know, taking care of noise with bottles. We'll mention that. We'll mention the you're going to soundproof. We'll mention that these are the same hours as you had at the previous place, which I don't. And then if anyone disagrees, let me know. I don't think it's unreasonable that they're asking for a rollover of the same hours. And now we need the PA
Mhm.
numbers. You have them?
No, I've been trying to focus here and not text too much. So can I email you that as soon as I get off?
So
This is Gretchen again. I just want to thank everybody, and you know, you consider, you guys have to make a decision, but I just want to make a suggestion for when you do the number, which, I don't know about numbers, but for Sabado, just make sure you understand if it's not just tables, but like if you need to put in extra numbers for staff, make sure you include that, because I wouldn't want you guys to be.
No, and I appreciate that. That's why I could throw out how many seats there are, but as I hear the concerns about if we were to empty out the whole space and what that means, if that's a concern, that's not something we plan on doing. So I want to make sure that we're putting forth a number that I can understand how it got there, and it takes into account staff, it takes into account the people that are dining. So thank you for flagging that, and that's why I don't want to be just throwing out a number with that, but I'll provide data to back that up when I sent that email.
So, Jen, did you get everything? And then we'll also note that the method of operation of the restaurant is the same as their previous restaurant.
Yeah, got them all down. Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know if we can vote without the numbers yet. So can you get that to us before the end of this meeting?
I absolutely can.
All right, so we'll put the resolution. Does anyone have anything? Any committee members only have anything to add? Okay, so then from what I said, Jen, did I gave you everything? Hours, same method of operation, soundproofing, phone numbers to management, care to take care with noise and bottles, and we'll put it in abeyance until we get those numbers from Sabado, and then we'll vote on it. Is that agreeable to committee?
Mark, I have a question.
Yes.
The hours of the 1 and 2 a.m. You're saying those are the same as their previous hours at a different establishment?
I'm going to take their word for it that it is.
No, I would.
It's not. Yes, it's not the reservation hours. It's what time somebody may be staying in there to if they sit down at 11 o'clock.
Right.
And I did speak with Oren in the building, and saying that is not something, we're not seating until that hour. But if there were on, let's say it was New Year's Eve and we anticipated people staying beyond the normal hours, that we would notify the building in advance.
Because it's taking them longer to finish dining. Okay, I understand. I was confused about that, so I appreciate that.
I wouldn't even complain on New Year's Eve. So you're okay on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
What time is the final seating?
On the weekends, it's 11. During the week, it's 10. And I believe on Sunday, it's 9 or 9:30.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine with me. Thank you so much.
So we'll put this in abeyance, but I think we have one other someone from the public who wants to speak. Can you put her on, Jen?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Please identify yourself.
Yeah, I am Bonnie Franklin. I am the owner of the loft that is directly above where the restaurant will be. And I appreciate everything that Gretchen just mentioned, as she is 2 floors above me. There has been dialogue between the committee of the co-op, dealing with this proposal. And I do appreciate that the community board will, specify some controls and limits and so on. We would feel more secure if there were, a guarantee or a promise not to seat people as late as 11 on the Friday and Saturday. But I understand that we can only recommend and request. So it's not something that I personally look forward to, because I have lived in this space since 1983, and I have lived above quite a number of restaurants who have differed clearly. and the brushstroke was a good experience. As Gretchen mentioned, we had a bad experience at times before that. So, I think that some guarantee of limitation of last reservations is what our committee had asked for. So I'm just saying that. And the other thing is that I understood that there will be another discussion about sidewalk cafe request. Is that what I understood? And that will come before this committee?
Yeah, that's correct. That's a separate application at whenever they decide to do it. And then we'll do the same kind of vetting that we do for any application as far as number of tables, hours, and whatnot.
And that we'll have sufficient notice in advance, hopefully.
Yes, they're required to post notice, yes.
Yes, okay, that's great, that's great. I also want to emphasize that what Gretchen said, that that the situation on Reed Street in terms of the neighbors and the type of activity on Reed Street is quite different from Hudson Street, and there was a bar across the street on Reed Street and so on. So it was a little cluster there of dining establishments. It's very different on Hudson, and the noise and disruption issue is a very sensitive one because we are basically a residential building on a very residential street.
Thank you. Okay, so let's put this in abeyance until we get those public assembly numbers, and hopefully we'll be able to just punch it in and vote on it. So let's go to the next agenda item, please.
Sure.
Let's something else. Okay.
Sure. And just to confirm with you, Mark, so we expect to get those numbers from the applicant during this meeting so that we can vote on a resolution for this application in this meeting, correct?
That was our understanding, right, Salvador?
Yes, should I message you in the chat? Is that to send a message to the host? Is that what I should do?
Yeah, you could do that, and then also email the community board so we have it on file there.
Happy to.
And don't leave.
No, I'm not. I'm just going to turn off my video, and I'm going to reach out to to the architect of record.
Okay, so we'll wait on that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Anything else, Jen, or we go to next agenda?
Just one more question as well, just for this application.
Yes.
Is everyone okay with the delivery hours? It's from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah, I think unless anyone has a problem, we usually ask that it's 7 a.m. because those are like the hours of construction. So as long as it's not before 7. That's generally what we've done. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and so the next application is for 109 West Broadway for a new liquor license for BL 109 W Broadway NY LLC, DBA Bluestone Lane. So we have our attorney here with us. Let me move him to panelists in just a second. Hi, Harry. You can unmute yourself to speak.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear
go
you.
ahead.
Okay, hi. Hi everybody. My name's Harry Callion. I'm the general counsel of Bluestone Lane. We had requested, we have another application here tonight. I just want to make sure we can hear that after this one. I think we had confirmed that. Jennifer had confirmed that earlier.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. should I continue? Should I start?
Yes, please.
Okay, this application is for Bluestone Lane. Bluestone Lane is an Australian cafe. We've been operating in New York City since 2014. We have 60 locations across the country. I'm sorry? Is somebody talking? Sorry. So this okay, so this is Bluestone Lane. We've been operating in New York City since 2014. We have 26 locations in the city. We have around 60 across the country. This is the former Super Linda space at 109 West Broadway. So it was previously licensed. This Bluestone Lane is we're primarily coffee and breakfast and lunch. We don't do a big dinner service. Although in certain cafe locations we do have a dinner service. The hours are 7 a.m. I believe we had put down 10 p.m. at this location, but we generally don't keep our locations open past 9 p.m. There's no place of assembly. This is the occupancy is 74, and under there are let me just make sure there are 32 tables and 64 seats, and there's no bar. We don't have we don't have bars. They're sort of coffee counters, and because there's a lot of there's a lot of to-go coffee and a lot of to-go food and pastries, things like that. And then the kitchen, and we're not making any substantial changes to the space. It's the same kitchen. It's on a mezzanine. The former establishment had a basement as well, but that basement has been leased to a separate tenant. So this is just the ground floor. And that's it.
So you can't serve liquor until 8 a.m., right?
Yes, it says here,
Sunday 10 a.m.
right. It says here the bar service hours 11. We put 11 a.m. here.
Okay, so you're not going to start serving liquor till 11, no matter what.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
The morning service is, it's breakfast and coffee. That's how the business is, was started.
Okay.
We started in office towers as little kiosks and things like that. So
Is this in a residential building?
there is residential above it. Yep.
And have you spoken with them?
Yep. My understanding is that the building's the building is in full support. The landlord is obviously in full support. I don't know. I think immediately above, I don't think there's residents. Forgive me if I'm incorrect. I believe above us is his offices, and then there's residential above.
Okay. And Jen, note that the Public Assembly 74.
Gotcha.
And I mean, if you've ever been to a Bluestone Lane, we have very quiet background music. It's we're not we're not bars. They're cafes.
Yeah.
We don't have TVs or again, we don't even have bars per se.
Okay. Any committee members have a question? Any members of the public have a question?
Mark, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Joel, so you were hesitating a little bit before you answered the question.
Joel, can you talk a little louder?
Yes, I'm sorry. Do you have anything in writing from the residents or management that they're in favor of this? You seem to be hesitating a little bit on that answer that Mark asked you.
I apologize if I hesitated. My 5-year-old son is in the car here, and I'm driving to another engagement, so I apologize for that. We do have the support of the we do have their support. We can submit that to the. We're happy to submit that for the full board meeting. A letter from the management.
What about the tenants?
Yeah,
I mean, we don't want to contact them individually, but the management, I'm sure we'll contact them and have them agree.
well, that doesn't really
Get
work
their group.
because sometimes the management is not in lockstep with the residents
Yeah.
because they have two different financial, bearings on this. Some people live there, the management company does not, so it affects the residents more personally. I'd rather see something more from the residents than the management company because they really are supporting the building.
Well, so to answer the question, there was a restaurant there before, and we are the reason they're in support. I mean, among other things, is that one, it's part of the co-op tenancy, and but also our hours are very early. We're a quiet cafe. That's the reasons for the support. Again, my understanding is they supported the restaurant before it as well. But if we need to get a letter with sign on from the residents, we can look into that. I mean,
Well,
this
if it's
is
a co-op board, you can
we're
get a letter. You can get a letter
Sure.
from the co-op board because the co-op board represents the tenants.
Sure, we could get that we can submit that to the full board if we can make that if we can get a conditional approval and submit that before the full board, we're happy to do that.
Yeah, they did post notice, but yeah, I agree. If you can get us something as soon as possible, and we'll do a conditional approval pending. If there's any objections or concerns from the co-op board, that we might have to amend the resolution. Is that agreeable?
That's agreeable.
Okay. So if no one has anything else, ask that we vote on this as an approval with the caveat that we're going to receive something from the co-op board. Is any objections or second or?
Call the question?
Oh, actually, apologies, Mark and Megan. I have two things to run by. Number one, deliveries. On their applicant, they mentioned that deliveries will be made before 6 a.m.
Oh, I didn't see that. Good call. Okay, we've got to fix that.
Yeah,
We're okay with 7 a.m. deliveries.
Okay.
And second thing is that they also mentioned in the application that they intend to license the parklay through the city's open restaurants program. I can go back to the page so everyone can see.
Okay.
Can everyone see the screen? So they
Okay.
intend to license the parklet during the open restaurants program.
Where we're looking, Jen?
Page 4, I zoomed in.
Okay.
Do you intend to license a terrace, rooftop, or other outdoor space?
I see.
Parklet during the open restaurants program. Yeah.
Oh, what is that? Explain that, applicant.
That's the open restaurants, not parklet. I think I forget the name of it. It's the parklet, the outdoor dining for the open restaurants program for the COVID outdoor dining program. Now, just to be clear, that could be moot because that program is supposed to end September 30th. We're hoping to open sometime in August or September. So
you're referring to an outdoor space that's not a terrace or rooftop.
Correct.
All right. So can we just note that?
Sure.
In the resolution, please, Jen. Good catch. Thank you.
And that was all.
Okay. So we're everyone okay to vote on this? Pending the co-op letter.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah, if someone can call the question and another member,
Call the
second, please.
question.
I'll second it.
Thank
And
you.
how do you want to do it, Jen? You want to do it by like we usually do, ask anyone against and or abstains or recuses, and does that work for you?
Sure, that works.
Okay,
Do you
so
want me? Yeah. Do you want to
okay,
go ahead and
sounds
do it
good. So
house?
is anyone opposed to this resolution? Any recusals or abstentions? Okay, passes unanimously. Same for public members. Okay, thank you. So Jen, let us know when they submit that co-op information, please.
Will do.
Okay, thanks.
Jen, this is Harry again. I'll submit that. I have to go to the management, and I'll get that co-op letter as soon as possible. When is the full board meeting, so I can put it in the calendar?
It's on schedule for June 22nd. That's on a Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get that. We'll get that to you before then.
Thank
Sooner
you.
the better. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
What was your next one that you have?
This is it's the same business, Bluestone Lane, BL2 River NY LLC, at 2 River Terrace.
Right.
This is
That is in the Battery Park City agenda.
yes.
All right. So we're just skipping around committee members. Of course, we have the same attorney for two different applications. So we're going to Battery Park City now. Okay. Go ahead.
So this is the former Le Pan Quotidian on at 2 River Terrace. It's a small store. It's about 1,100 square feet. It's non-public assembly. It's 74 and under. There are 10 tables and 20 seats. There's 7 stools. Again, it's not a bar. It's a coffee counter. And it's a kitchen area of 150 square foot kitchen area. We have an outdoor annex, which is which LPQ had, which is right. It's if you look at the photos, it's between, it's an annex, and then if you go through that, it's about half of that annex, which is outdoor seating, and then behind that is the courtyard to the building. It's the same operation. It's just on the ground floor. Hours are 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. Again, we generally don't stay open past 9 p.m. This one does not have the open restaurants parklet. I don't believe it's permitted in that area, and there's no sidewalk cafe. There's just that annex there. It's the same menu, same operation, everything. So, and for this, we do have the support of the I forget the name of the organization, but the River Terrace, and we can likewise, we'll submit a letter from them prior to the June 22nd full board meeting, if that's amenable to the chairs.
That's a co-op also, or rentals?
It's a co-op.
As well. All right. So you'll do the same thing for us on this one?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, Jen, of note there that you flagged?
I would mention the same thing as last application, just on delivery hours be made
Delivery. Okay.
7 a.m.
We'll add that.
after. Yeah.
Great. We'll add that. Any committee members have questions? Or members from the public? So we'll call a vote on this as amended, and also pending the co-op information. Call the question. Anyone second?
I second.
Any opposition to this, committee members? Any recusal or abstentions? None. So any public members? recusals, abstentions, or no votes? Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Stay safe.
Okay. So Jen, I think we're gonna pop back up to Tribeca, is that right?
Right, yeah.
Okay,
We have 3 more
Okay.
applications.
tell us what we
So,
got.
yeah, so the next one is for 66 West Broadway, for Dallas NYC LLC. Let me just double check, see if their applicants are on right now.
Okay.
Okay, so we have one of the applicants, Elizabeth Nicholson, here with us.
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome.
Okay, Elizabeth, please introduce yourself and tell us about your restaurant.
Yes, well, it's going to be just a little wine bar. So my name is Liz Nicholson. I currently am the buyer for Frankly Wines, which is also at 66 West Broadway. And the corner retail space in our building was previously operating as a Vin Servant, which was a tiny, it was honestly it is a little hole-in-the-wall wine bar. And they opened and operated for just about a year, year and a half, and closed at the start of the pandemic. It wasn't my intention originally to have a wine bar 2 doors down, but many of our customers started suggesting last summer that we should really take over the wine bar. And once the earlier at the beginning of this year, once things seemed to be going in a little bit more of a direction that maybe this pandemic was ending, because at the time I couldn't have even considered opening. I started looking into it and crunching numbers, and so we decided to go for it. It is a tavern license and it's still active. So I've spoken with the gentleman Rakesh who had the license previously for Vin Servant, and we've initiated the transfer, assuming this all goes through. And so it's a very small space. It was already a wine bar. They took all the equipment, but they left the bar structure. And so it's kind of not that difficult for us to just kind of put back the wine bar the way it was. It's very small. So the idea is to just kind of keep a constant changing by the glass program, because there's just not enough room for storage to do any sort of a serious program. But just to kind of keep things fun and easy. The menu, since it is a tavern license, it doesn't have a full kitchen. We don't even have a gas line. So there will be an electric stove. Well, actually, it's not a stove. It's more of a stackable electric oven/warmer, because we will have 2 warm items that will be served, but they can kind of be prepped ahead of time, served. Otherwise, it's going to be a cheese. There's going to be a large cheese program and salumi and 4 salads and probably some olives and giardiniera. It's going to be a relatively simple, small menu. The idea that it's really just supposed to be a place for our neighbors to kind of come and grab a glass and catch up, and they can order a snack, or if they want to order a couple plates, they can make a meal out of it. It's not necessarily meant to be a full-blown restaurant. It's really just meant to be a little wine bar. Fortunately, before being the buyer here, my whole history was in restaurants. I was the beverage director at Maialino, which is, in the Gramercy Park Hotel for Danny Meyer. I also was the head sommelier at Maria on Central Park South, and worked with the Ultra Maria group. So yeah, I spent about 12 years running beverage programs before this. So I fully understand. Oh, I have so much of a prettier, that's my first sketch, but I did a much better floor plan with much better numbers that I sent them today. So,
I had a question about the floor plan. I see it's a sketch. I
it is a
understand.
sketch. I made a really nice one
Is
today.
this the current layout that are you
That's
renovating anything?
So that is basically the exact layout. The only thing I'm changing is those 4 little 2 tops. We've decided to make them high, like bar high tables, high tops. So we're
Right.
probably going to do 2 to 3. That whole section there is, as you can see, 142 inches long. It currently has a wooden banquette, but in thinking about kind of how the whole space was, I thought it seemed silly to have 8 people sitting low when the other diner, everyone else would be sitting up higher on bar stools. So I decided to make those higher tables. But ultimately, yeah, that was the layout of the previous bar, and this is we're kind of just reconstructing it.
So you have bar stools, and then against the wall, bar stools going into the corner,
Yeah,
and
there's
then the
some bar.
tables.
Exactly.
And what's the capacity?
So I looked at the certificate of occupancy says that the ground
Next.
floor of the building says 60. It's basically, if we're lucky, we might get a little over 20 seats in there. Maybe I think it would max out at like 24. But that will depend on the reorganization and what we find exactly for tables for that, where those 4 8 tops are. I think that we could probably get get another, with the high tops, I think we can actually allow a little bit more, like another 2 to 4 covers. And so that's, yeah, it's
But the
small.
C of O says 60.
Yeah, well, this, I know, but we can't, I'm putting 60 people in there.
I'm just saying that's what it says.
But
Okay.
that is also for the whole first story, I think. So like
Alright.
there's 5 retails around.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
while no one else is a restaurant, so
Yeah.
you might have, a handful of people working, I would still say that you're never going to go above 25 or 30 people in that space.
So 30 is a good number for you for our resolution?
I think 30 because I
Okay.
can't really imagine.
Okay. If that looks like that would probably work. Okay, any members of the committee have any questions? Anyone from the public?
Sure.
Who's that? No one from the public? Now, is that in a residential building? We always ask.
It's not. And I wouldn't say I have 2 full pages of signatures from the public, from our customers wanting us. No, the building itself is actually zoned as a factory. So above us, we have actually a wine importer, and otherwise there's some architects in the building.
Okay.
Across the street from us is supposed to be a residential building, but it has been stalled in its building for 2 years now. So we're across the street from a completely empty.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no residents in the building.
So you have a dumb waiter from the wine importer to go down to the restaurant?
He would love that.
That was a joke.
I know.
Okay. Does anyone have any issues with it as the applicant approved as is? Now, forever hold your peace.
Mark, I have a few questions.
Go right ahead.
I just want to confirm if the total square footage is 320 or 580. There's just 2 numbers hovering over.
So we were told originally by the landlord, when I asked him, I said, how many square feet? He told me 580. But when I actually did the measurements and did everything, I realized it was far smaller. It's really only 320 square feet because it is, what happened? It's so the whole length of it is only 24 feet 6 inches. And then you have this tiny little cutout in the top right. But so basically across the whole width of it is 15 feet too. And yeah, so once we actually did the math for it, it realized it was a lot smaller than the number the landlord had provided.
So Jen, can we note that about the square footage and also that the P of A will be 30?
Gotcha. Okay.
And that the method of operation, is this similar to previous tenant? If is that accurate to say?
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay.
Another question I had was about the open windows. So she lists the open windows times from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Just want to confirm if that's okay with the committee.
Yeah, I mean, anyone chime in on this? It seems like less of an issue because there's no residents around. But 10 p.m. would be the time anyway for the most part, right?
Yeah, we don't plan to stay. I mean, I'm not planning on maybe on the weekends staying open till 11, but I really wasn't planning on staying open much beyond 10. I mean, I've been on this block for 4 years, and watched I watched the previous wine bar and was often, we'd be closing at 9, and they usually didn't really have anyone in there. They really hit their stride, kind of like late afternoon, early evening. And so I imagine
Are
that.
you okay with the windows being closed 10 p.m. during the week and 11 on Friday, Saturday? Is that okay?
Yeah.
They have to be closed by those times. Okay. Anyone object to that in the committee?
I'm okay with that. No
Well,
objections
I
here.
think we're ready to vote with those few amendments.
Call the question?
Okay, second, someone second?
Hey, can someone second, please?
Seconded.
All right,
Thank
any committee, any objection? Recusals, abstentions? Public members? Recusals, objections? Abstentions? No? Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
What's next? What do we got next?
The next application is for 458 Greenwich Street for Stacy Sosa on behalf of Entity to be Formed. We have her here with us as well as a few other representatives. So I'm going to move them up to panelists. Let's see. Hi, Stacy. Are you there?
I think she might be still muted, but I'm Elias, her son.
Great. Hi, Elias.
Are you able to present, Elias?
I could present, but probably it'd be best if my mom led off. She's got more of the concept kind of with her than I do, and I'm currently at the restaurant trying to juggle a few things. So let me see if she's able to unmute herself, because I think she's a little less technologically advanced than I am. But I mean, in the meantime, I could definitely give you like a quick little elevator pitch of who we are before we get to the concept. I'm not too sure. I guess I could start the video too, right? Do I do that? I don't work remotely, so I've never done like a Zoom thing. See if I could do this here, because I'm not too sure if that worked. Okay, all right, there I am. All right, hi. Yeah, I mean, basically, my family started Estancia 460 in 1995. I grew up in Tribeca. I was the first graduating class of PS 89. I grew up with this neighborhood until the recession kind of almost shut down our current restaurant and kind of priced us out. But I left my last job 3 years ago to help out with the family business, and I finally took over. My mom took less of the reins for Argentinian Italian cuisine. Katie, who's going to join us, was the GM for like 8 years before I took over. She's back now as a kind of like co-GM manager role. The neighborhood knows her very well. I mean, she is friends with all the kids and kids I went to school with. Eat at my restaurant now and all that. So we're totally like family oriented. We have like we know customers on a by name basis. That's just for our current location. For the second location, I mean, we're going to do a different concept, but hoping to attract the same people, just at a different time of day. We really lost our office crowd, obviously, with Citigroup gone, Havas gone, Edelman slowly coming back. We know Google's coming back to the neighborhood, and we were hoping to provide something low key, not only for our current regulars, minus their kids. It's the hours of operations would be 4 to 12 p.m. Be a very limited menu.
You mean 4 to 12 a.m.
4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Yes, I think we put that on there.
There's typos on the hours. You have everything as PM.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's definitely a mistake. So we're not trying to do a 24-hour discotheque or anything. Yeah. So before
while we're on the subject, let's just go over it. So, Sunday through Thursday, you're going to be hours of operation 4 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Weekends, Friday, Saturday, 4 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Exactly.
Okay, so we can just note that correction.
Sorry about
an
that.
email on that too.
Okay.
So we have it for the record. Okay. Sure. Please continue.
Yeah. So we kind of had this idea a while back, but the market, real estate market's kind of been ripping. 458 Greenwich was taken over by Turks and Frogs, maybe like 2008, and then after that, the Greek closed down. We noticed that these kind of high end, for lack of a better word, like overpriced Middle Eastern cuisines weren't really working out there. So we figured we would provide something a little bit more simple where people can go and relax, basically. It's definitely going to be like, there's definitely going to be food service, which I would think would be similar to our source of revenue as it is here at Estancia. We are going to change the alcohol options a little bit to make them a little bit more like on the draft beer side. We don't have draft beer here. We don't have the space for it. And we do kind of more, kind of intricate cocktails here as well, which we still plan on doing there. We're not looking for a crowd that ranges from like 21 to 30. We're kind of hoping to get something from like 28 to like, 65. Really just kind of want to make it in a relaxed setting that has light food as well. We know that we are asking for hours of operation that are a little bit later than what we currently do at Estancia. We stay open until 11. Typically on the weekends, we haven't really found that it needs to be there much later, but we think with this concept, an extra hour or two would make more sense considering we're not going to be open.
Do you know what the hours were for the previous restaurants that were there?
I would assume the same as ours. I know like our liquor license technically goes till 2. I would assume that it was the same for them as well, but I think they definitely were open later than we are. I noticed just from, kind of closing down the restaurant and seeing that they still have people coming in.
And there's a restaurant next door, right?
Yeah, so it was called the Greek in 458 Greenwich, and that's the space, we're applying for. We're right next door at 460.
Right, okay. What are their hours?
So they're shut down, and then you have the place called Greca on Washington, and I don't know what their hours are.
Yeah, I don't remember
what they were. I would assume 11 or 12. It would seem like they were probably operating till 12 because he did have people.
Did you talk to the neighbors about the increase in the hour
Yeah, we did get a lot of signatures on the petition. I'm not so sure if we were supposed to scan that over. I think my mom has it available somewhere. I do have a physical copy upstairs. We know it was supposed to be in a 2-block radius, so I obviously didn't get signatures from anyone outside of that. We definitely think I got like at least 40 plus. I and lots of the customers here who are.
But what about the residents of that live in the building?
So we only have.
There's been restaurants there for quite a while, for many years, and they've been, I'd say, living not too far from there, of benign. They haven't been quality of life issues as far as I know.
So I think most of that is due to the construction.
So if you could just let us know that you actually just spoke to the people that actually live in the building, that they're going to be a little bit of change on the hours. We'd like to know what their reaction is.
And to be completely frank, I'm just what I referred to in terms of the former hours of operations for the Greek is what I assumed to be, what was like the legal status of those hours of operation. I'm just noting that we did have kind of diners and events go, within those hours, but still, towards 12 a.m.
Right.
I think technically their liquor license did go till 2 a.m. I cannot say that they went till 2 a.m. That is not our plan either.
Yeah, he might have been grandfathered from God knows how many years ago.
Right. So in terms of the people in the building, I was friends with Libby and Michael, who moved to actually closer to me in Kips, like on the east side, like 29th and 3rd area. So, and then I'm friends with Neville. He's a lawyer, but he doesn't really eat here very much, and I'm also friends with his girlfriends. I only work at night, and I rarely see those two. So I haven't, unless Katie got their signatures, they would be on the form, but I personally did not get in touch with them. Neville is the guy. Neville and his girlfriend I'm friends with, and those are the only people I truly know in the building.
And you posted notice, right, on the building?
Yeah, so we posted that there, and I believe we posted it on their door as well.
Yeah, I see it on the residential door.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we did, do our due diligence and post the signage that you requested of us, ask for signatures. I'm sorry, I think you had like a question that I may have overlooked or forgot to answer.
Jen, you have anything else flagged before I go to the committee?
At the moment, I do not.
Okay, any committee members have a question?
I do. I have a question.
ahead.
Is the Tribeca Spa of Tranquility still down the street from you?
So they're right, totally adjacent to us. So they are the next building over. I'm sorry, guys. I just have one of my staff will pick that call up in just a second. It's phone's right by the computer, so let me just mute it so you don't have to. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so Tribeca Spa of Tranquility, they are still there. They shut down for a little bit, and so I grew up with Carrie Reardon and her son Graham. They own that building, and they lease out the bottom floor to the spa. So I'm familiar with everyone. Why do you ask?
Oh, no, it's Tranquility. You're, opening up a restaurant that
so
might be a little noisy.
actually, so
To know
just
what your relationship is, but obviously you know the owners and not the people that run the spa. So
Yeah,
it's a
actually,
mute question.
yeah, no, it's totally a fair question. So to give you a little context, we have a 50-foot long outdoor seating area that our lawyer, who also
Yeah.
lives on the block, we conjoined us together to talk about if it's okay to have that. And he actually let us get an extra 3 foot of space for the seating area, which basically provides us with another 4-person table, which is, amortized over a whole year, has really made a big difference. So we're totally in good standing with them. They actually let us get more space than we initially asked for. They said, yeah, you can do it like right up until the door starts, the doorway. We just wanted it from the perimeter of our building. But they actually gave us a little bit extra. They're super nice.
And guys, for reference, this is next door to where they're building the hotel.
Yeah.
All right.
Which and I know you guys addressed that. You said they did have like some issues with their lifestyle due to the former establishment. But I do also think that does have a lot to do with the construction at the hotel. Our building, which is Landmark, has been totally altered, and I'm sure the building in 458 has as well due to the construction next door. I wish I could show you behind me, but there's a huge crack that basically starts from my whole wall all the way through the other end of my basement, and we're basically the same size as 458 Greenwich, about 1,500 square feet. And the downstairs is the same size as the ground floor. So I would say, I'm not so sure. Again, I can't speak on behalf of who was operating out of that commercial spot before, but the hotel has totally messed up both buildings, and I think that they're dealing with vermin issues.
No, on a side note, just real quick to give you 30 seconds.
Sure, please.
Because your land, because it's landmarked and it's in the land below Watt Street there, and your building is landmarked and it's within 90 feet of a construction site. There's certain protocols and precautions that the builder is supposed to take. Like he probably should, I don't know if he's pile driving or auger drilling. So
Yeah.
if you want to write this down, it's called TPPN, Technical Policy Procedure Notice 1088. You can look that up and give it to your lawyer, and they can help you protect the building. Okay, continue with the application.
Thank you for that. You know, our landlords for 460 Greenwich also own 458 Greenwich, and they have been on top of that. They're also lawyers as well as landlords. So,
but that's an obscure thing that a lot of people don't know about that can help you with regards to landmark buildings and proximity.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I'll definitely, post call, make sure to look into that myself and not just rely on.
They might even want to follow up with the landmarks, the CP1 landmarks committee.
Okay. I'll look CP1. Okay.
Yeah,
CP, our landmarks committee.
Okay.
So do you have anything else to add for the application? Oh, who has questions? Did you get your question answered?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else have questions? Anyone's members from the public? So with that being said, is there anything in the application? Everyone's okay with the hours? So I guess we would prove it as is, as presented.
I do think my mom was trying to say something.
I know. I don't know if anybody can hear me.
Okay, there she is.
Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
I muted.
Your
Hi.
volume is very low.
My mom is not in New York City. I think she has really poor reception.
Okay.
Oh my God.
There she is. All right.
Do you think
This
there's
is
anything else that
terrible.
needs to add that you didn't cover? Because I think we're ready to vote on this. Unless any other committee members have an objection.
No objection here. I'm good to vote on it.
All right, someone want to call the question second?
Sure.
Call
I'll
the
call the
question.
question. Oh, I'll
Second.
that.
So as presented in the application, any members opposed? Any recused or abstaining? Public members, any recused, abstentions, or no votes? Nope. With that, it passes unanimously. Good luck.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your time, guys.
Okay. Next one on the agenda, please.
Appreciate it.
So we have 95 West Broadway. It's an application for method of operation change to extend their serving hours. This is for the Tribeca Hotel LLC, Tribeca Lobby Bar LLC, Bruno and GMT LLC. We have the representative for this application, Jake Tristler, here with us. So let me just find them. Actually, we have the applicant.
We have them?
We do.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, please tell us your name.
Yep, my name is Asa Shelley, and I am the owner of Primo Management here on behalf of the liquor license in the Tribeca Lobby Bar Hotel. Sorry, Tribeca Hotel Lobby Bar. It's called the Frederick.
Sorry, give me one moment. I'll pull up the application. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
I can see it.
All right, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and present.
Sure. Yeah, we've been in operation over 2 years now. Unfortunately, we were closed for some time of it during COVID. We didn't have outside seats. We still don't. We are not going to do outside seats. We are reopening the bar. And along with the reopening, we are looking to maximize profits in all manners possible. As you know, it was a pretty hard year on our industry. So we are requesting an extension of hours. We've operated without incident since 2018. And we're located within the hotel, at the back of the hotel. And like a few other hotels that operate within CB1 that do have 4 a.m. liquor licenses, we would like one as well. So we operate right now every day till 2. We would operate some version of an extended hours. If approved today, we would like a 4 every day of the week, but obviously understand that, you know, that might not be what the community wants. I think a Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday would be great. This is on a corner, like I said, in a hotel in the lobby, towards the back, on Chambers at West Broadway. These are 2 commercial streets, not far from the Patriot, which operates till 4, around the corner from what was Ward 3 that operated till 4. And we have operated without incident, so we feel like this would be a agreeable request.
You wanted 4 a.m. at that time, and we didn't agree with that.
At the time of application, you guys said that you did not want to approve a 4 a.m. license.
Right.
We did not fight at the state liquor authority level. We agreed to all the stipulations as requested, and we decided to operate, show you guys we're good operators, that the hotel is a good hotel, and come back.
And then you came back in May of 2017.
No, we had come a few times in 2017. We didn't open until 2018. So
no, I'm talking about in regards to our approval, or not approval, but not objection to the license the second time you came back to the board with, we approved it if you were going to be at 2 a.m.
Right. And that's what we did. Yes.
Okay. So then with regards to like the Patriot, like these are places that have kind of, they're grandfathered. They've been 4 a.m. for a very long time before we had a quality of life committee and licensing committees and things like that to vet. If they came now for a 4 a.m. license, they wouldn't get it.
I understand that. I'm just referencing them.
So we have to have some kind of standards and quality of life to balance the quality of life of the residents, and with you guys to be able to run a business and contribute to the community, make money.
Understood.
So you understand that.
Mhm.
So we'll go around to the committee and see what they think.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Everyone, someone please chime in on thoughts. You don't have to raise your hand. Just chime in.
Yeah, so I'm personally open to allowing like longer hours, assuming that it's correct that there haven't been any issues. But that's just me. Just want to say that.
Mark, is our policy that we give them a trial run, and if they do well and there's no complaints, we may consider extending it, or is 2 a.m. our cap for that area?
Yeah, generally it's like for a new license in a residential area, we'll be like in the like midnight to 1 a.m. thing, and then we'll say, all right, if you're doing a good job, come back and we'll give you 2 a.m. We never really, say if you come back, we'll give you 4 a.m. because it's like I mentioned, the quality of life reasons, the neighborhood, the character of the neighborhood, all those put together, and we gave them 2 a.m. Every day initially. The second time around, we didn't even say 1 Monday through Sunday through Thursday and 2 on the weekends. So they got a pretty good deal. They're kind of ahead of the game of most other places where we ask for 1 a.m. during the week.
Okay, so 2 a.m. is consistent with the maximum hours that we've been granting to all businesses.
Yeah, it's consistent
Okay.
with our guidelines, and everything's a case by case basis. Of course, there could be other circumstances. Even if there have no incidents as a good neighbor, it's just the factor of the late nightness of even something that's benign that contributes to sometimes the quality of life of bad things to quality of life. So I mean that's my opinion. But
Are they reopening again? Have they been closed for a while and now they're reopening again?
So
they said that, right? Yeah.
That is correct. The hotel had been closed since the initial shutdown
Right.
back in March and is reopened as of June 6th. So they have been closed over a year. We located, so you guys are probably familiar with the Serafina next door, which is also in the same property, but it has a different setup. It's a lease rather than a partnership. And they
so
had been operating the whole time. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah. I agree with Megan and the fact that since you're reopening, maybe you need to give it you and the community board need to give it a shot and see how this moves along.
Well, if I may, we had been open for over a year and a half, or I'm sorry, around a year and a half when we had been forced to shut. The reason we're asking now is because, like a lot of other restaurants in CB1, we don't have outside seats. We don't have the ability, like Serafina next door, to add an extra 100 seats on the street. So, I understand that you guys want to see how we do, but we were good operators up until we were required to shut down, and we're coming now after being good operators and saying, hey, we don't get the benefit that a lot of other restaurants do, and we would like some concession. Like I said,
but you're in a hotel. You're in a hotel. You have people in the hotel, right?
Hotel is based on occupancy. A hotel bar can't function alone on hotel guests. And in the hotel, and to answer your question, yes, we are in the hotel. So the hotel was licensed for a mini bar and for guest room service till 4 a.m. But we do have a lot of guests that would like to stay later. So look, those are all factors. I understand that CB1 has a cap at 2 a.m. for some time now. I think there have been other hotels that have been licensed till 4 a.m. And like I said, we're trying to figure out the best way to get our feet back since we don't have a lot of the benefit that other places did. I would also concede to a 3 on Friday and Saturday. Something is what I'm asking for.
Yeah, the 4 a.m.s though, but 4 a.m.s for the room service and running within the hotel, is different, completely different.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just mentioning it for reference.
From having a walk-in, someone at 3:30 and 3:25 in the morning walking in, that's already been the 3 other bars kind of situation. So that's the quality of life factor, and and I certainly appreciate the fact of trying to recoup, losses. And we're really, very, very cognizant of that fact. But at the same time, we have to balance the quality of life situations. So I would, my personally, I see what the committee thinks. I would reject leave them at 2 a.m. and reject the request for method of operation change to 4. I don't know what anyone else thinks.
That would be my vote.
So anyone else want to comment on that, a straw poll on it?
That would be my vote.
All right. So,
Mark, can you repeat what you just proposed, please?
that we reject the request for the change of method operation to 4 a.m. and allow them to continue to 2 a.m. every
Okay.
day.
Okay. Yeah.
I agree with you, Mark.
And then just also mention that, and things like the Patriot and whatnot were grandfathered in, and if they were applying for a new application now, they necessarily would go by the same standards that we're going by now. But
Right.
it's grandfathered. There's nothing we can do about it. So.
If it were just for their guests, I wouldn't care if it was 24 hours personally. But I
Right.
couldn't, in good
Right.
conscience, on behalf of quality of life, the community residents, like the rest of you, vote for 4 a.m. if it's going to be open to outside patrons as well.
Right. So is everyone okay with that?
I am.
Rejected.
Sounds good to
and,
me, Mark.
Yeah, and then also mention that the ones that are nearby are grandfathered, and that necessarily would not receive a 4 a.m. license if it had not been grandfathered from many years ago.
They can always come back. They can be stipulated for a certain period of time.
They can come back any
always
time,
come back.
It can come. They can. An applicant can come back anytime and request, and we review and vet it, and things change. Nothing is like I said. Everything's a case by case basis.
But do we want to say anytime, or maybe like 6 months, a year, like stipulated time?
Right. That's what I was asking.
Anytime could be next month. They come back and try again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's what I was asking in terms of putting a time limit on it.
Well, with the virus and everything just barely getting up and running, you have to kind of get.
I would love the Patriot to come back. There's a brand new apartment building right next door. I know the people who own the building across the street. The Patriot has been a problem for years.
Yeah.
I will bet that brand new apartment building, you're going to be hearing from people about the Patriot.
We have to pay attention to when they come up for renewal.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Once you give the 4 a.m., it's there. It's almost there forever. It never comes back. So when you start having problems like with the Patriot, they'll never. It's not going to happen. So
Mark,
Yeah.
can I just? I agree with Gene about like the I know we're getting off topic about the Patriot. There might be another way to go after them, because when they have the outdoor seating, while most of the restaurants in our neighborhood have been very courteous, like the 1803 restaurant and some others, I think Gene could agree that the Patriot, they've set up their tables and chairs where they're blocking the whole sidewalk from curb to entrance.
All right, so let's so we don't get off topic.
Why
don't you both guys take some photos of it, and we'll see if we add it to the agenda next month.
Sure.
Sound good?
Yeah, but as far as this application,
Yeah, let's get back to this application.
Sure.
So my proposal is that we mentioned that. Well, we should also mention that the operator has been a good neighbor. People, residents like it, but in lieu of balancing quality of life with businesses, this 4 a.m. would just needs to be rejected, and that and like I said, that other
in 6 months.
Yeah, and that other places. Well, I don't know, 6 months. They say you have to say you really need like a really good year or more to really get a note on it, and that the applicant's welcome to come back and reapply at any time. And everything's a case by case. Should be in
You're
there.
saying at any time, more as opposed
Well, I
to
mean, I think
a year.
it's silly to come back in 3 months and
Yeah, but
they'd be
like
wasting.
Mariana said, we don't know. They may.
We don't plan on wasting anybody's time.
Yeah, I think
I appreciate your time now, and
common sense. So I mean, cordial, they're good people, but like I said, we have a balancing act here that we have to work with. So,
Mark, I have a question. Are we voting with the resolution?
Say it again.
Are we voting as with the resolution?
Yeah, are you ready to vote, or you want me to go over it again? Or are you ready to vote?
Are you asking me? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, anybody, so who's, anyone opposed?
Well, can someone call the question and somebody else?
Oh,
Call the
sorry, yes.
question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone opposed? Any recusal, abstentions? Same for public members. Any recusal, abstention, no votes? Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, good luck to you, sir.
Take care. Thank you, guys. Have a good
Thank
night.
you for coming down. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Jen, where's the next one? Just tell us when you're ready.
Sure. So after that, we're now on the renewals list for Tribeca. We have 3 renewals.
Okay.
I'll just read them out loud,
Okay.
in case, so anyone who doesn't have an agenda in front of them. But we have 135 West Broadway, a renewal for 61 Reach Street, and then another renewal for 81 West Broadway.
Oh, Pepolino, yeah.
Yes.
I haven't heard any complaints about that, except every time I call them, they always say the delivery guy is sick, so I don't think they deliver. So I stopped calling the order from. But I haven't heard. Has anyone heard any issues with that, with any of those? So renewals are okay. Anyone object? Okay, so unanimous on the renewals with Tribeca.
Okay, and then now we're moving on to the FIDE. So the next application we have is for 84 William Street for Food First LLC, and we have the attorney here with us, Ben Stanisky.
Hi, good evening, Manhattan Community Board 1. My name is Ben Savitsky of Bernstein Rado. Anyone's having trouble hearing me, just let me know. I'm in an area that has somewhat bad connection. I'm here on behalf of Food First LLC. This is an application for a full on-premises liquor license to be used as a full-service restaurant at 84 William Street in Financial District. It is at the corner of William Street and Maiden Lane. It's directly across from the Federal Reserve. Some of you may be familiar with this space. It was Blue Ribbon's Federal Grill. If you love Blue Ribbon as much as I do, you will be happy to know that it is still going to be operated by Blue Ribbon. The restaurant we're here tonight on is Blue Ribbon Sushi, and it is going to be, of course, operated by Blue Ribbon. If you're not familiar with Blue Ribbon, they are a restaurant operator in New York City and the United States that is very well regarded and very professional. They've been operating in the industry for about 30 years. Some operations here in New York, I believe they have about 10 licenses, but they also operate in Miami, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas. Blue Ribbon Sushi, this concept started in about 1994 and has been very successful, and we'll get into why it is successful. Eric Bromberg, who's a principal and is on the call tonight, so he can answer any questions about the operation. But I quickly just want to run through the high points of the application that you guys are concerned about. So again, full service restaurant with a full kitchen. The licensed space is going to be 2 floors, but the dining space is only on the ground floor. The cellar is just for back of house kitchen area. A copy of the floor plans was included, but I'll briefly just go through it. It's 26 tables, 88 seats, a stand-up bar with 14 bar stools, and a service bar. The stand-up bar also doubles as a sushi counter, so you can sit down and you can have some rolls of sushi and also a sake. The proposed hours of operation are 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. They only use recorded background music, and there is no outdoor space or operable windows at this location. Blue Ribbon is a very high-quality operator, as I mentioned before, and I think you guys have a great experience with the Brombergs and Blue Ribbon, but there should be no neighborhood concern about this operation. With that, I'll open it up to questions.
I just want to say I love Blue Ribbon. I order all the time. I think it's a great place, and I live on the other side.
I'm excited. I'm excited you're coming.
This is a non-residential building, right?
So it
Right
was
about or wrong?
It was formerly a hotel, and Blue Ribbon operated on the ground floor of the hotel. It's currently in the process of being converted to residential, but there are no residents in the building yet, and it is a rental building. It is not a condo or a co-op.
So in the new renovation, will there be a tenant directly above the restaurant?
Eric, I don't know if you know that, but I mean, anybody who's coming into the building would be fully familiar with that there's a restaurant on the ground floor.
Does anyone know the answer to that question? Because the follow-up is, will there be soundproofing?
Mark, it was formerly a restaurant.
It was
The
a
ground floor was a
restaurant, yeah.
restaurant. And then there was, I think it was like long-term kind of like corporate housing is the sense that I had. I think there's a lot of units. So I don't know if there's soundproofing or not, but it had been a restaurant and it was a low-key restaurant, kind of like what I think Blue Ribbon Sushi would be, not loud music
It was
or.
right. It was previously operated by Blue Ribbon, and it's the same method of operation. The recorded background music is really only background. You know, I don't know about the soundproofing for the space, but it's never had a problem, and I don't anticipate it to be a problem at all.
But this would be the first time that there'd be actually potentially an actual resident living above that space.
No,
Yeah.
I think whoever was just speaking was accurate about it by saying that there was some sort of long-term housing. That was
Okay. All right.
Like long-term corporate housing, out-of-town business people for,
Oh, so
months,
it wasn't permanent resident.
Either way, you know, and I can't guarantee that either way. I mean, there's always been, if there is something above it, it's always been operated as a hotel. So there's always been somebody who's been in that space.
Yeah, but there's a distinction between someone who's coming in temporarily and someone who's going to live there for quite a number of years, on whether their quality of life could be potentially disrupted. So that's
Right,
that's
Mark,
the concern I have.
One point about that is somebody who's renting that space would be fully familiar with, and I'm just looking at the actual floor plans now. Floors 3 and 4 are eating, drinking establishment and a mechanical floor. So there's not even residential on 3 and 4.
All right, so it won't. So it's a moot point. There won't be one there. Okay. Okay. Is there anyone else from the committee have a question? Anyone from the public? Do you want to propose approving this as presented? Need a call. Need a call.
Yeah, I'll call the question.
Okay.
Second.
Anyone opposed to approving? Any recusals or abstentions? Public members, any recusal, abstentions, or no votes?
Apologies, Mark.
Go ahead.
There's actually a member of the public who wants to comment on this application.
Okay, so we're gonna rescind the vote for a moment because I made a mistake and didn't see the member of the public. Who they should always have a chance to speak. So can we have them speak and then we'll re-vote?
Sure. Hi, Naomi. Are you there?
I am. Hi, I just want to say that we live in the neighborhood. We actually live right across the street. We love Blue Ribbon Federal Girl. We've never had a problem with noise, ever. I mean, as I say, we lived across the street, not in the building, but we can tell you that it's never been noisy. They've always been 100% responsible. As far as we can see, because we are exactly across the street, I believe it's offices for the apartment that used to be a hotel that's directly above, so you should have no problem with that. But I can tell you for the community, we'd love it if you could keep part of the Federal Girl menu back. Eric, this is my 2 cents to you.
I appreciate it, and we will take it under advisement. Yeah, I would love to keep some of the good food.
You became a real community hub, and we actually met people in the neighborhood and in our building that we never met before. And
that's nice.
Friends through the pandemic, and we all checked on each other, and we all want you to come back. So
Oh, great. We're excited. Thank you very much.
all right, that's it.
Okay, so with that being said, I'd like to add a whereas to the resolution that there was a member of the public that lives directly across the street that was in favor of the restaurant opening. Does anyone object to that? Okay, then we have someone has to call the question again to be official.
Call the question.
I'll second it.
Okay, anyone, as, not as amended, but as added to, does anyone object, recuse, or abstain? Public members, anyone object, recuse, or abstain? Okay, passes unanimously. Next agenda item.
Sure. So our next application is for they go hand in hand, actually, two applications, but at least the next one is battery place for the Carousel Kiosk, and then followed by battery place, but fountain kiosk. And we have the applicant here with us. So just give me one moment. Hi, Katie, are you there?
I am here. Thank you. I
So
believe
just to clarify, just, excuse me, one part, sorry. So Jen, it's the same applicant for both of these?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Please proceed, Kate.
Great, thank you. I believe I also have a representative here to joining. Could we make sure that it's possible for him to also be in this conversation?
Sure, Katie. What's
Yeah.
their name?
No problem.
Yes, their name is Peter. Sorry, I'm pulling it up. It's with Michael Kelly's office, but the person's last name to me.
I see Peter here.
Okay.
Peter Janosik.
Yes.
Apologies, I
Thank you so
mispronounced that.
much.
Okay.
Thank you, Jen.
Awesome. So I'm moving them to panelists, and I'm gonna pull up your presentation.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Wonderful. Well, I'm happy to present a bit, and then Peter can obviously fill in things that I miss. I am the co-founder of a catering and events company that's taking over the concession for 2 kiosks in the Battery. These 2 kiosks were formerly owned and operated, or not owned, but operated by Cleaver Company, another fabulous catering and event company, as Table Green and Table Green Cafe. And we are sort of moving into the role, looking to really kind of continue on most of everything that existed before us. We have a lot of similar values to that company, and we have been really welcomed by the Battery Conservancy. Our vision is to basically serve wine, beer, and cider to, within a limited outdoor seating area that complements the seasonal food that we're offering from the concession kiosks. And then, Peter, if you would like to walk through the rest of the application, that would be great.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you, Peter.
Okay, great. Hi, this is the Carousel Kiosk. This is the wine and beer application for the Pixie and the Scout LLC doing business as the Carousel Kiosk, located in the Boston area of Battery Park near the Carousel. We are a kiosk that will provide food and beverage service to the park visitors. Our menu will consist of snacks and light plates, and hours will be 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week, with a designated seating area enclosed by stanchions, which will contain 5 tables and 20 seats. There will be no alcohol permitted beyond this area. The operators have over 16 years of experience in culinary, restaurant, and catering business. They will be running the operation similar to the way the previous operators, the Cleaver Company, Inc., doing business as Table Green Cafe had the previous years before, which had been very successful. And we respectfully request your approval.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. What are the hours of operation of these kiosks?
9 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week.
I'd like to.
One that
Sorry.
said 9 till 9 p.m.
Yes, that's correct. There are two kiosks. So the carousel will be open, hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then the fountain, which is about 100 yards away, not even, we'd like to keep those hours of operation until 9 p.m. or sundown. So 9 p.m. would be sort of the latest, and then it will get earlier as the sundown goes earlier.
And what's the capacity of these kiosks?
Sorry,
How many people can be being in other words, how many patrons what are the most amount of patrons that can be served there at one time?
The largest number of seated patrons could be so between the two kiosks there are 16 tables. So one would have 10, but we do have walkaway traffic as well, but they are not permitted to take a drink and walk away. So people sitting in the seated area be about 10 tables on the one and 5 at the carousel. So fountain 10 and carousel 5. And each
Is there a
table.
photograph of what these look like?
Sure, yes,
Is that provided?
Yeah. We do have photographs and we can certainly send you them if they're not included in this application.
I thought I saw one, but it was very hard to imagine what it would look like with people around it.
I'm sorry, with people around it.
Yes, well, how congested it would be, or loud, or this sort of thing. Trying to determine what the quality of life would be, with the maximum number of people that are drinking.
Well, there will be no music.
Well, just people being loud as they are when they drink.
Peter, I'll let you take that question. I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I'm not sure what the appropriate answer is.
I mean, you're in the park. People, this is not a bar. This is just, this is a place to eat. And we really don't anticipate people getting rowdy and, over drinking, basically.
It's not that. It's just sometimes just a sheer volume of people that are not drunk or loud and by the water, and the voice travels, and I'm not sure how far away the residential windows are from there, or if any.
There are 0 residential windows here. We are at the farthest tip of Manhattan.
So both of them are at the very. So is there like a map where you can show us where they'll be?
And
that would be helpful.
That could be provided.
You don't have one?
Not with the exact location of where it is. No.
Would you like us to submit a Google map right now so we can move? We can. I don't have that included in this.
It might just be me, but the location of something outdoor, people drinking, that could be noisy, even if they're not rowdy. Just needs to be addressed.
Was this an issue with the previous operator?
I don't know. Is anyone from Battery Park City remember?
I'm not familiar with the prior operator. I'm familiar with where the kiosk is. It's inside the Battery.
Okay.
But yeah, I believe if does that sound right to the applicant? From the pictures,
yes.
It looks like this is one of the kiosks that's in the Battery, which is over by the promenade.
All right, so that's helpful. That's helpful. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's whenever I've walked by, whenever there were people previously there, it seemed like a pretty calm scene. But I didn't ever frequent it myself.
Plus, the operator will guarantee that things won't be getting out of control. I mean, we just expect people to be sitting down and eating their meal and enjoying themselves, and not start getting like rowdy.
Well, you keep saying rowdy, but it's not that. It's just a congregation of people that can be loud depending on proximity to where they are. So they might That's just all, just a group of people together can be loud, even if they're not drinking. So, and plus that doesn't apply to you, but we can't consider it now. But it looks like at some point that the alcohol to go thing will be rescinded or repealed at some point. So that's just FYI.
Well,
Future
we're
for
not
everybody.
planning, yes, of course, we aren't, we're in a New York City park, so we're not doing that anyway. It's alcohol in this park is only permitted within the stanchioned area that we're serving it at all. So we have no.
For now, it's like that. But does anyone have any questions? Anyone from the committee or public members? Anyone from the public, Jen, have anything?
I do see a hand raised from a member
Okay.
of the public. Let me just make sure.
Thanks.
Hi, Eric McVeigh. I have unmuted you. Did you wish to comment on this application?
Hi, good evening. I actually had I guess a point of order. It's not about this application. I was actually here to comment on the financial district area number 186.5 Nassau Street. I saw that it was skipped over, so I presume it's been adjourned. I'm an attorney, so I represent the landowner in the area. So I just wanted to know why it was adjourned and to what date it was adjourned.
Oh, it was kind of hard to make out what he said. I couldn't barely hear anything.
He wants to know why it went over to July, and it will be at our July meeting, which is the first Wednesday of the month of July. But Jen, do you know why it was postponed?
Right. So yeah, they came to us with a 30 days notice a few months ago, but they've been postponed for 2 times now, because they haven't met deadlines to submit the required application materials. So as of now, they've been postponed to July's agenda.
Gotcha. Do you have a date as to when that meeting is? I know you said the first Wednesday. I just want to be able to be sure.
Sure, I can double check that right now. Just
July 7th?
let's see. So next month's meeting is on schedule for July 14th.
14th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Back to the application. So, with those questions being answered, I would propose that we approve the application, and as that the applicant stated that it would be method of operation would be the same as the previous operator. It just is a whereas. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm happy to call the question.
Okay, anyone opposed? Recused? Abstention? Public members, same, recused, opposed, abstention? Okay, passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
You. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Was that the last one, Jen?
No, it's not. And then next one is we have 3 more, but the next one is also under the same applicant.
My mistake.
This one's for the fountain kiosk.
Okay, what number is that?
That's number 4 under FIDI.
4, okay.
So Katie, you could just give us a run through for this application.
Thank you.
Oh, did she leave?
Yeah,
Oh, Mark,
I don't see her anymore. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm a bit confused. Did we just pass a vote for both of her applications, or was it just for the Carousel Kiosk?
I thought. Oh, okay. I should have. I'm sorry. I thought because we were taking them both together, having them both presented together, that if there was no objections to either of them, that we were going to vote. We were voting on both of them. I should have.
That was my understanding as well.
I should have clarified that. I'm sorry. But I think any of the committee members, not think that?
No, and I have no objection to that.
Okay, all right. So I think we're good, Jen.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Mm.
So then the next application would be for 928 Craig Road South at Governor's Island. We have Drake Trissler here with us. He's a representative for the application. And then I'll pull up the presentation in a moment. Hi, Jake, are you there?
Hey, I am here. I think that Sean is actually here with us too. He should be presenting. I know he was having some technical issues, so if he's not, then I will just take over for him, but I think he should also be with us.
Sure. Do you know by any chance if he's joined with us by using a call-in number?
Yeah, it's joined via dial-in. The link wasn't working for him to join normally, so he's on via dial-in with the last 4 digits of 9046. Sean, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me? I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh, great. I'm sorry I couldn't join on the video today. I'm on Governor's Island right now, and I'm only able to do audio. I'll keep it very short and sweet. I'm an owner of a few restaurants in Williamsburg, Leah and Missy. We also have a pasta company called Missy Pasta, and this summer we're doing a 3-month pop-up dinner series 4 nights a week, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Friday, every week, June, July, and August. Tonight is night 1. We're going to be doing an outdoor dinner for 12 people only each night in an open field where we're the only ones that are around right in front of the Statue of Liberty. It's called Picnic Park. It's essentially a 5-course dinner. We will pick you up in Tribeca in a little boat. We bring you over to Governor's Island. We pick you up at the boat in a golf cart. We bring you to the table. People have a cocktail, 15 minutes, not an hour, but 15-minute cocktail, sit down, dinner. And then at around 9:15, we bring everybody back to Manhattan, to Tribeca, Pier 25. And that is the night. So we essentially pick you up at 5:15 and we get you back to Manhattan around 9:30. There's no music, there's no dancing. It's an outdoor venue, open air, 4 days a week, 3 months. This is reservation only on a reservation platform, Resi. There's no walk-ins. That is all the details that I remember off the top of my head. If you have any questions, please let me know. Oh, we're applying for the seasonal on-premise license.
How many commutes a day do you anticipate?
Great question. So our boat, we have a boat that will bring the 12 guests to the island, and then we'll take the 12 guests back to Manhattan. And then once that happens, we'll have our 5 team members taken off the island via this boat as well, brought back to Manhattan. So 3.
So 3 dinner servings or lunch servings a day?
Oh, no. Oh, just 1. I'm sorry. I misunderstood your question. There's only 1 dinner serving a day. Yeah, there's 12 people a day that we're serving, and they eat at the same time. Basically, the dining experience lasts from 6 to 9 o'clock. 12 people.
Okay, and then, but I think the liquor license, what did it say, 11:30? You requested?
Possibly, that could be the case. I believe we provided 5 o'clock to 11:30, just giving us enough time. But I think we'll be able to get everybody off the island by 9:30. That's the hope.
I think 11:30 was provided just in the event that there was a delay getting the team members off of the island, just to cover that time so that the committee and the SLA could know that there could possibly be still some team members after that 9:30 departure by the guests.
That's correct.
But it's not anticipated that anyone would be there that late unless there were in extenuating circumstances.
That's correct.
Does Governor's Island have any specific rules on how late liquor can be served, other and notwithstanding what the SLA says?
To my knowledge, they know the time that we are operating, and they are aware of the alcohol that we would be serving, and they have not told us that it would need to be done before 11:30.
Okay. Anyone from the committee have questions? Any public members? Do you have a photograph of I see these photographs, but and then you have a schematic of like where the benches might be. Is there like is this an open field with tents or
Yeah,
okay.
there's no tents. It's just an open field with a long table and a few Adirondack chairs that are facing the Statue of Liberty. I'm
Right.
very happy to send you a few pictures because tonight's the first night that we're doing this. I took a few pictures. I gladly can send them over to
Yeah,
Jake,
it's a
and
little
he can
hard to
show them to you.
visualize. I mean, I can guess what it could look like, but something a little more substantial would help to.
Yeah.
It's a little abstract.
Yeah, we can get
Absolutely.
those to the board's office if you'd like. And just for peace of mind too, so this section is an open field, but it has been delineated by the Governor's Island Trust and the Governor's Island Corporation for exclusive use for these events. So there won't be any other outside patrons accessing the area. So it will be closed off.
Okay. Anyone from the public, Jen, on this? Or-
Let me just double check right now. No, I do not see any members of the public with their hands raised.
Okay, then someone wants to have call the question. And...
Oh,
sure.
Mark.
Oh, Mark, may I ask him before you do
Yes,
that?
yes. Go
Where
right ahead.
can you find out more information in terms of how to make reservations and stuff like that? I'm curious as to how much this is going to cost.
Oh, you could. So it is $350 per person, and we're giving 5% of all revenue to the Food Education Fund, which is a 501c3 that supports culinary programs for high school students in New York City from underserved areas. We have, of our team of 5 people that are working this event, 2 of them are students from the Food Education Fund. We also have 40 others that are other restaurants in Williamsburg. But you could find information on this event on resi.com, and you would just type in MP Governor's Island.
Okay. Thank you.
Jen, can we note that it's reservation only?
Will do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark, I
Yeah,
actually had a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, let me just actually go back to the application. But can we confirm what kind of music they intend to play, if at all? That information isn't filled out, so just wanted to make sure.
No music.
At all? Okay. And
So
no.
note that.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
That was all from my end in terms of questions.
So you want to call the question on this, someone?
And someone second, please.
As presented and with the two additional whereases.
Call the question.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Anyone opposed? Recusals? Abstentions? Public members? Recusals, abstentions? No votes? Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next application we have is for 26 Ann Street for AB Fulton Nominee LLC and Hershey Hospitality Management LP. And again, this is another application from Ben Stavitsky. So
The applicant's here.
Hi, it's Ben again. And I believe that we do have the applicant on the line as well. So this is AB Fulton Nominee LLC and Hersha Hospitality Management LP. It's an application for a new HL license, a hotel liquor license to serve liquor, beer, and wine as part of a hotel at 26 Ann Street. It's between Broadway and Nassau. The hotel is the Moxie NYC downtown. Some of you might remember that this application, or not this application, but this hotel was here before Manhattan Community Board 1 in November of 2017, and we got the support of the community board, and obviously a license was issued by the New York State Liquor Authority. Unfortunately, that hotel had a rough time during COVID and had to close. A new owner is coming in with a new management company, and they're going to take over. The new management company is Hersha Hospitality. They have about 135 hotels across the country, including 9 in New York and 3 right here in CB1. There are 2 Holiday Inns and the Duane Street Hotel they operate. From Hersha, I have Hiram Negron on the phone. He can answer any questions about the operations. But again, let me just quickly hit the high points of this application. So, and just to say it out front, the proposed method of operation is exactly the same as what the previous operator was doing, which was approved by CB1 and the SLA. They're not trying to change anything here. It was a good operation. I think, COVID just kind of got the best of this hotel. It's a 31-floor hotel. It has 298 guest rooms. The F&B, though, even though it's a 31-floor hotel, the F&B is concentrated to the 3rd floor only. There's only food and beverage on 1 floor. It's the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor serves as the lobby and the bar, restaurant, lounge, and then there's a small little event space on the side as well. We included a copy of the floor plans if you want to take a look at them. There are 27 tables, 73 seats, and 1 stand-up bar with 12 stools. And then there's this small event space, like a flex space, that can seat 30 for small events like birthday parties or corporate functions or presentations. The space uses only background level music, but they do use recorded music, DJ music, and live music, but it's all at a background level. And this was all approved by CB1 or supported by CB1 and approved by the State Liquor Authority the first time. The hours of operation go until 2 a.m. daily, although there is a grab-and-go market that operates until 4 a.m., where somebody who comes into the hotel late, a traveler, can grab a beer and they pay for it in the lobby and they can take it up to their room. They can't drink it in the lobby. And of course, you're not expecting that people from the community are going to be coming in and grabbing a beer. So it really is guest activated. The entire space is guest activated. It's a good hotel. It's a brand new hotel, and they're getting a world-class operator in here with Hersha. So we hope that we have your support, and we think that this can be a great hotel. Thank you.
So there's the kitchen is it just looks like a microwave and cold food and heat up stuff. No stove or anything. Is that right?
So it's a full kitchen, but it's fully electric. There's no ventilation or anything like that. It's composed of turbo shelves and some electric heating tops, and they do serve a full menu. They get burgers in there. I think there's some flatbreads and stuff like that.
Okay. Explain the hours again.
So 2 a.m. daily.
I understand room service 24/7 for room service. Understand that.
Yeah, here's the thing. So it's a 24-hour. I think what they say for the 24 hours there is it's a 24-hour hotel. The hours of operation for the F&B space are only going to go until 2 a.m. daily. There's a grab and go that you can go into, and you can, like a market, if you've ever been to one of these hotels, and they have like a little market space and they'll sell beer there, and you could take a beer and you could bring it up to your room if you get in past the hour of closing of the F&B space. There is no room service in this hotel. There is no mini bars in this hotel, which kind of necessitates this grab and go market thing.
All right, explain. You have to explain that a little better. The grab and go location for pickup is where?
It's same, the 3rd floor. It's right next to the bar, and it's always attended.
So the bar is closed, and this is like set up like a kind of a little separate kiosk thing. Is that what you're saying?
It's not a kiosk. It's like a market. It's really just, and I think we actually included pictures of it. It's just it's like 2 refrigeration units. And if you would like a beer, you speak to the attendant who's there, and the attendant there rings up the purchase. It's not a big seller, I can tell you that much. It is really just a convenience. it's kind of like an alternative to having a 4 a.m. license. They have a 2 a.m. license, but because it is an international hotel, we do expect travelers coming from other time zones. They wanted to have the ability to have the ability of somebody to grab a beer if they really wanted one. And again, this isn't mixed drinks or anything like that. It's bottles of beer and wine products.
So the bar is closed. You can't walk into the bar after 2. Correct?
That's right.
And then this kiosk thing, where I'm looking at a picture of it now, that has sodas and will also have beers in it. I see it as sandwiches. Is that the one you're talking about?
That's it.
And so that'll be open all night, and then you can purchase a beer from there if you're a guest from someone who's where?
There will be, obviously, it's a lobby. It's, this whole 3rd floor is the lobby of the hotel, so there will be somebody there, and there will also be an attendant who can access this grab and go and can give somebody the beer. There it is.
So they don't open the beer for them at the purchase. They take it with them to their room.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is not that somebody's going to grab a beer and they're going to sit in the lobby and drink it. It's that they go up to their room. I don't know the specifics of whether or not where they open it, but as a hotel, they are allowed to sell beer over the counter and have people bring it to their room.
But the hotel won't allow them to sit in the lobby and drink it.
No, that's not I mean, at 2 a.m., the 3rd floor is closed for bar service and stuff like that. The 3rd floor then just serves as a lobby for people checking into the hotel.
All right, I got to ponder this for a minute. Anyone from the committee want to chime in?
This was approved by CB1 3 years ago.
Anyone from the committee?
So is this really just a change of operation application?
No, it's a brand new owner and operator. The old owner and operator is no longer in business, and this new operator came in and they purchased the asset.
But what you're asking for is exactly what they had before.
It's the exact same thing that they had before. I mean, I don't think there was a problem with the method of operation. They didn't have any issues with the community, and they never had an issue from the SLA.
How do you enforce the grab and go that it's only people who are staying in the hotel and that they take it back to the room? How is that enforced?
I mean, there's somebody in the lobby. There's a lobby attendant, and there's personnel there, and I think the hotel will actually also have security, even though if there's no security for the F&B space. But I mean, it's kind of the same way that you'd enforce anybody. I mean, anybody could go to a bar and they could buy a beer and they could walk out with it if they really wanted to. And when we're talking about really the only time that this is going to be activated is going to be from 2 to 4 a.m. I don't imagine that there's going to be anybody in the space, so it's not like somebody could do this surreptitiously or behind the back of anybody in the hotel lobby.
Hey, Jen, I don't know if you'd be able to is it possible to find a previous resolution that approved this, the previous entity, to see if there's any language on this grab and go thing?
Sure. Could Ben confirm what was the trade name of the previous?
I believe it was Tribeca Associates. It was the same address.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now, Mark.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Jen.
you, Ben.
Does anyone else have a question? Well, Jen's looking that up for us. Yeah, that was kind of the only thing I had an issue with, or
yeah. I mean, I think Mark, I think it was actually kind of negotiated with the community board, if I remember correctly, because we weren't going to get a 4 a.m. license here, so it was kind of an opportunity for them to actually be able to have alcohol past 2 o'clock in the morning, but really only for those people who are coming in at that time, hotel guests.
I don't remember this. Maybe I was absent that day, but if we did approve it, as you say, then let's see what the language is in the previous resolution, and then I can just cut and paste it, if that's the case.
Mark, in the meantime, we could ask about the music. I see they intend to play live music, including acoustic jazz, piano, and guitar.
Oh, can you talk about that, Tosh?
Sure, it's all background music. Occasionally they'll have an activation where, somebody comes in and plays an acoustic guitar. This isn't late night things. I mean, if you really wanted them to put a cap on the hours of doing it, I think they could. It's really just kind of ambiance. Again, this is the hotel lobby. There's no intention that they're going to be having any loud music or concerts in here. People are going to be checking into the hotel, and they're not necessarily wanting that.
So how's that work? The lobby is the third floor. What's below it?
So you walk into the hotel, and there is kind of a check-in area, and then you take an elevator up to the third floor, and that's the lobby proper.
Okay. So on the first floor, it's just a check-in. There's no lounge or couches or standby sitting around kind of stuff.
I don't believe so. No, I mean, if there is a couch there, it's merely for convenience. If there's probably somebody waiting online, but
Okay.
you go up to the third floor to wait until in the lobby.
Okay.
Mark, I
yes.
found the resolution back from November 2017. Can everyone see
Okay.
my screen?
Let's see what we got.
Do you want me to read it out loud? The whereas, the mention the hours.
Is it possible to put it on the screen?
Yeah, we see your screen, Jen, but it's still the diagrams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me try. Okay. Sorry, wrong.
No problem.
I actually just found the resolution myself, and I'm glad that I wasn't making this all up.
No, if it's there, it'll be helpful.
Would you like me to read it while it gets set up?
Oh, wait, here we go. So where's the language on the grab and go, if there is any?
1, 2, 3, 4, fifth whereas clause.
Okay, we can all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Establishment is
No, right above that. Sorry.
Oh, the fourth whereas? Wait, I don't see it.
Yeah, no, sorry. I have a resolution here that has it as the fifth whereas clause. It says there will be alcohol service from the grab and go station until 4 a.m.
What's the date of that resolution?
January 23rd, 2018.
No, oh, no, actually, November 2017. Let me just pause my screen for a bit. But Ben, which year was it again? 2018, what month?
January 23rd, 2018.
Okay.
I apologize for holding you guys up like this.
No, we just want to get it right.
Are there any other questions about the method of operation that I could answer?
Yeah, I'll go around if the committee has anything else again. Oh, the windows don't open, right?
No operable windows, no outdoor space, no rooftop. Everything's on the third floor and it's fully enclosed.
Okay.
Can everyone see
now
my
the
screen?
Fifth whereas clause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
1, 2, 3. All right. Let's just cut and paste this, but also additionally add that it's for guests only. Hotel guests only.
Hiram, are you okay with that?
Let me unmute him just so.
Yeah, then we're okay with that for the hotel side.
Great, thank you.
Okay, I think that's it then. We're missing anything else?
That's it.
We satisfied that? All right, so with the addition of the clarification on the grab and go, anyone call a question as presented with that addition?
Call the question.
I'll call the question, or I'll second it.
Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Recusals? Public members? Opposed? Abstention? Recusals? Okay, passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Good luck. All right. Thanks for looking that up, Jen.
No worries. Looking back at the committee agenda, the next application, we'd actually be going back to the first one for 30 Hudson.
Right.
Sabitha was able to actually provide me information with the public assembly numbers. So
Where did he get it?
is he still on? Yes, he's still on. Okay.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Go ahead. What do you got?
It is 100 on the first floor and 40 on the ground floor.
Okay, so it's above
Or the basement
75.
floor, the basement.
Okay, so let's add that to the resolution. Do we need to go over it again, committee, what the rest of the resolution said? Or do you remember? Everyone's okay now with it? To vote with the addition of the public assembly numbers?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Go ahead, call the question.
I'll call the question.
And seconded?
Okay, anyone opposed? Recusal, abstentions? Public members? Opposed, recusal, abstentions?
This
Okay,
is
pass.
Gretchen Clayton in the public, just to reiterate my opposition. Thanks.
Yeah, we did the best we could, Gretchen.
Appreciate it. I mean, yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, so it passes unanimously.
Thank you all, and sorry for the delay on that.
And remember, be in contact with the neighbors.
Absolutely,
Please.
I have open channel of communication with them, and we'll make
do.
sure that we do. And I
Because if
encourage
we hear,
Gretchen-
we hear otherwise, you know, we'll feel disenchanted.
Understandable.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And then after this one, that's all the applications we have. And then Mariama and the committee, the members that were present at the large venue working group portion, they agreed to come back to what was discussed. So Mariama, if you want to go back to what was kind of touched based on, I think it had to do with the noise control. So I wanted to talk a bit more about the delivery times and locations. And
It's hard to hear, guys.
oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, so say again. What are we doing now?
Oh, that we go back to the what was discussed at the large venue working group portion.
Okay.
Mariama's still there. She's here. Okay.
So that's it for licensing, right?
That's it for licensing.
Thank you,
but-
everybody.
Oh, but Mark, we had wanted to touch base on some things that were discussed at the large venue working group, like
Yep.
including the delivery times, locations, and the egress.
Mariama has those notes, right? So you'll pick them up.
Right.
Okay, she was going through that PowerPoint, right?
So let me just
still
pull up.
see
I
her
took some notes.
here.
She's still here, Mariama?
Mariam, are you there?
You see her name, but maybe she.
She's not responding. But it was more so just kind of follow the procedure that we did last month, where we motioned for a vote on the points, and then work on the resolution up until full board for the full board vote. But we actually have a problem now because we don't have quorum though. So
We don't have a quorum right now.
we don't have quorum. We're missing one. We're short of one member.
All right. So should we defer it to next month?
I would recommend that based on
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But
All right.
yeah, we're all done with the agenda.
So we'll defer to finish that up for the working group large venue for next month.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Jen. Thanks, everybody. Meeting.
Thank you, Mark.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Jen.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks,
Great
Jen.
job.
Good job.
Got it. Meeting
Wonderful
adjourned.
job.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.